Let's have a look now at project properties, which is very similar to drawing properties, but what you're doing now is you're applying this to an entire project. When you bring a drawing into a project by adding the active drawing, you get that prompt, project default values. If you say yes to that, your project properties are applied to your drawing properties. So it may be that certain drawings need to have their own individual properties set as against the project properties. Now, I'm not going to add our new JIC project properties drawing just yet. What I'm going to do is go to the project here, click on it, right click and go to the properties of the project. Now, the project settings with regard to library and icon menu paths should already be set, so we're not going to change any of those. Let's go to the components. Now, when I add a component, you'll notice the tag format is there, %F, %N, and you'll notice sequential. Now, you'll notice from previous settings where I've set the project, it's 001. Now, I've set that previous occasions with the project, so my sequential numbering will be 001 instead of, say, 1, which is the default. So if it is 1, like that, make sure that you set it to 001. So that's your component tag format. You want that to tie in with the drawing properties that we said previously. Now, you'll notice as well component options. Description text can be uppercase or lowercase. Item numbering, you can obviously do that on a per component basis or accumulate project wide and so on. So there's a whole shed load of settings that you can use for components. Wire numbering, again, very much the same as the drawing properties. However, you've got the new number wire placement here. So you've got above wire, inline, below wire and so on. Remember when we did wire types, we can rename the user columns as well. That's in there. Again though, sequentially, I would go for something like 001. Now, good CAD practice when you're doing electrical wiring is to start probably with something like 100 and have an increment of 10. You start at 100, which gives you a leeway of 100 either side. So you might go to 200, 300 and so on. And then the increments are 10, so you'd have 110, 120, 130. The reason for that is it allows you then to add individual wires in between the increments of 10, because you can guarantee when you're working on an electrical project, there will be a need for extra wires. So that's a good habit to get into. However, for this, I'm going to go for 001, and the increment is going to be 1. But that's purely because it's a training exercise rather than an actual professional project. Cross-referencing, you've got default options on the grey buttons here, and you can also specify same drawing, shows the drawing number. Between drawings, you've got same and drawing number there. Cross-reference options, you can tick them. And you've got things like component cross-reference display. You can show it as text, graphically, or as a table. Styles, same as the drawing properties, exactly the same. Arrows, PLCs, wiring, and fan in-out markers and the layer list are all exactly the same. As is drawing format, when you're putting your ladder defaults in, your format referencing and your scale. They're all exactly the same as the drawing properties that we looked at earlier. So I'll OK that now. So my project is updated. Drawing won't look any different. All we've done is that component numbering goes 001 now, instead of the default of just 1. So what I'll do, select the project again, right click and add the active drawing. Yes to that. I'll apply the project values this time, which will apply those component settings. So if I go here now, right click and go properties to drawing properties and go to components, you'll notice it's 001 there. Okay, let's zoom in. Now I've gone up to 004 with these relay coils at the moment. So let's pop another relay coil in and see what happens. So I go to the schematic tab on the ribbon, icon menu, relays contacts, and there's my relay coil there. I'll bring it in. I'm going to line it in with this 003 wire here. So I'll just click there and it automatically picks up that that is 005. I'll OK that now and it drops it into the wire there for me. Now something you might do, you might obviously tidy these up and line them in. So we might use edit components and use the align tool. So you might want to align 002 there with 003. So I'll click there, select that component there, right click. Now you'll notice it hasn't done it. If we look here, can you see CR002 alignment constrained by another component? It'll be that CR001 because it's on the same wire. So just be aware of that when you are using align. It does happen. and you need to read your command line sometimes just to check on what is exactly happening. But that is how you set your project properties and align them with your drawing properties. It may be that you require a drawing template to use on a regular basis while you're working in an AutoCAD electrical project. Now what I've done here is I've created a drawing called JIC Drawing Templates.dwg. There's a standard wiring ladder on the appropriate layer in the drawing, and there's a standard block in place. Now this block here, when I click on it, is actually a drawing title block. If I double click on it, I can actually go into the Enhanced Attribute Editor and update the drawing sheet, all these details down here in the bottom right corner. So that's all set up with a standard AutoCAD block as a title block with attributes. I want to make sure that all of these settings adhere to my project settings. In project properties, remember we set up all the numbering, sequential numbering for components and wiring. So the trick is we would save this drawing to the project as like a default template drawing or something. So first things first, we go to the project, right click, and we add the active drawing because we want to apply the project default values. So they all update. Now it doesn't matter about the numbering here as such. I'm just going to go in and go to the properties and make sure it is sequential. Just good CAD practice to do so. So there's our drawing templates drawing in the project. Now, what we need to do is tell our project to use a new drawing template for every new drawing that you add to the project. So we need to make this drawing here, our JIC drawing templates, an actual template file, a DWT file. Here's the trick. Before we do a save as, save the drawing as it is in the project. Then we do a save as here. Now, at the moment, you can see it's in the settings configs folder. As soon as I change the file type to a drawing template, it goes to the default AutoCAD template folder. That's where I'm going to save this. And I'm going to call it ACADE, AutoCAD Electrical. We won't put numbers in there. What we'll do, we'll just put default template. Just call it something like that. And what we'll do is we'll make sure that it's JIC, so we'll put -JIC so that people know it's using the American Imperial Standard. And then I'll click on Save in that template folder. It asks for a description, so I'll just go Default JIC Template. Now the measurement is English. That's good. You don't want it to be metric. You need it to be English, feet and inches, and we'll OK that. Now as soon as that changes, you'll see the name changes at the top of the screen. So there's our template saved in the template folder. I'm going to save that one more time, just a sanity check more than anything else, and then I'm going to close that particular file. So that's gone now. Now the lovely thing is if I want to open up a brand new drawing now, I can go up to New, and you remember our startup variable that we set up to bring up the startup menu. When I click there now and have a look, there's my AutoCAD E default template JIC. So if I click on OK, new drawing opens up, and as you can see, that is just a blank drawing, drawing2.dwg, but it's ready to go. So I can use that if I want to and add it to my project. Now, I've already got a project set up though. So what I want to do is go to the project here, right click, and I want to go to new drawing. Now I can prompt my project to look for a template. You'll notice Autodesk 360 updating there. That's because I've got a live internet connection right now. So there's my template there. If I click on Browse, it takes me straight to that template folder. There's my AutoCAD E default template, JIC. Click on Open, and it applies that. So that's in place. What I need to do is give the drawing file a name. So I'll give it a name of New Drawing, let's say. So we've got New Drawing there. We'll give it a sheet value. Looking at the project drawing list, it's going to be 005, the next drawing. Click on OK. Do I want to apply the project default values? Well, yes, of course I do. New drawing opens up. Watch the project. It updates to sheet 005, new drawing DWG, and there's my title block and my wiring ladder in place. So these templates are extremely useful. Standardize. Make sure that you've got everything in your template that you need so that you don't have to keep going and editing things like that.